This is Dave Angeloni, and welcome to We All Have Shit, the only bi-weekly podcast that tries to take an honest look at what ails us and moves us forward into the lives we lead. Our show can be accessed through our YouTube channel, the We All Have Shit podcast. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the WAHS podcast channel to not miss an episode and ring that bell to get notifications. We will conduct our show with comfort, realism, and sensitivity. Humor will be injected whenever the moment calls for it, and we will do our best to be brief, to the point, and real. Anything that might be difficult for us is on the table. Physical, mental, emotional, professional, personal, social, family, financial, etc. We are all human and we all have things in common. Moreover, we were created to exist in a social context and to help each other as best we can. This will not be a bitch fest, nor a complaint zone, nor a place for negativity. Rather, we will strive to maintain positivity and enthusiasm during the challenges we face because life is here and life is now. We simply owe it to ourselves and each other to try our best every day. Finally, while I may have been a trained and experienced professional counselor in a past life, this is not me now, and this is not our show. This will not be a glorified pop culture counseling session. There will be no life-changing attributes shared, nor any high-minded ideals ascribed to. Rather, we will simply do our best to shed some light on our troubles, talk about how we are dealing with them, and hopefully make some positive contributions to the world around us. So, I want to begin this episode by thanking everybody for the many positive comments and messages of support that I've received since my first podcast episode. I mean that. Thank you, everybody, for the comments and the well wishes that I've received. Look forward to continuing this in some way and welcoming guests in from time to time. That being said, just as a reminder, the primary purpose of our show is to shed light on the multitude of things that might be affecting us beyond just MS. That's my thing and my shit. However, there's many others. So we're going to be doing that. So last week's episode was about my story and the structure of the show, how it's going to be held every week and delivered every week. So I talked about my diagnosis, what I went through during that time, etc. Today, I want to take one more, origin story for me and this podcast and give a little bit more details about my coping strategies, what I do to manage the symptoms that I'm dealing with. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, my treatment. Then we're going to talk about some efforts that we've taken so far to raise funds and pass this, on to society. And then we're going to preview the next episode. Okay? So in terms of my treatment with multiple sclerosis, like I mentioned last week, I've come to learn that the primary way to look at this is MS stands for manage symptoms that we handle. Okay? So the first and foremost in my mind is a daily routine. So I've naturally been in my life a person of routine and structure. That's my orientation. Now with MS, that's even double or triple or quadruple or whatever. I crave structure, I need structure, I thrive with structure and routine. So I have that. Every morning I get up before the feet even hit the ground. I start off with a prayer, pray for a good day, reignite the faith every day for a good night's sleep and a good day ahead. start some stretches right next to my bed in the morning. Then I go out, the bathroom routine, wash the face, contacts in, downstairs. We get down there, we have this perpetual status of mindfulness. Every step I take, down the stairs, into the playroom of my house, and we do a prayer routine and my morning stretches and exercises. When the weather's nice, this is outside. When it's not nice, it's inside. But from a prayer point of view, we're going to talk more about that every episode and the importance of a faith orientation. Whatever the faith might be, whatever the problem might be that you're dealing with, it's critical, in my opinion, and many people's opinions, to have that faith-based orientation. And I'm no different in that regard. One of the primary things that I've done before my diagnosis, through my diagnosis, and into today is an app that I am more than happy to promote on my podcast, Bible in a Year with Father Mike Schmitz. Many of our listeners might be aware of Father Mike and the Bible in a Year podcast. It's been around for a number of years. I started this during COVID, and I continued it, and it's taken on a deeper meaning and a deeper importance to me every day through my treatment. It really helps me to get my day started correctly. So I start with Father Mike every day while I'm doing my morning exercises and stretches. That takes about a half hour. After that, then, I have my work day, my normal life. What I do from an exercise standpoint, every day I alternate. One day is a weight training day, one day is a cardio day. The weight training day, it's going to be a full body kind of workout. I'm not training for a specific sport or a particular event. This is just life training, right? So it's a full body workout, physical. Try to keep that in mind and do that every other day. And then the alternate days, I do a cardio workout. That might be a walk, a run, a bike ride, swim in the pool in the summertime. It could be any number of things. And I try to vary that and incorporate that as much as possible, do a CrossFit kind of element to it as well. Okay? So that is a big part of the physicality that we do. Also, naps. I hate taking naps. I've never taken a nap, not since I'm a small child, and I'm not, a 90-year-old retiree in a nursing home knitting blankets someplace. But given my condition, I need a nap every day. Sometimes it's only 10 minutes on a couch with my feet up and my eyes closed. Other times it's a solid hour, snoring, blackout sleeping. My body needs a chance to rest every day. If I do that, I have a much better chance of navigating through my day, okay? So physically, I have the mindfulness, I have the prayer thing, the exercise thing, the naps thing. Okay. Medications. Again, touched on this a little bit last time. I am eternally grateful that I have the perspective of how things used to be with my mom when there were no medications for this and nothing but experimental treatments at best. I now am able to benefit from medications that have been proven through scientific research and medical community, university level support, etc., to have treatments now that are effective in managing the symptoms of MS. There's no medication that could eliminate MS. That's never going to leave my system, most people say. All the best I could do is manage the symptoms of that. Primary progressive multiple sclerosis, meaning that the best I could do is stay where I'm at. So even though I might do X, Y, and Z every day physically, my body is not able to grow and respond in the way another body might. That's very frustrating, but that's the reality. So the best I could do is continue on where I'm at, and the only way to do that is to keep moving. So medications I'm on Ocrevus, which is the first and only, I believe, FDA-approved treatment for MS. Again, it more manages the symptoms of MS. It doesn't eliminate it, but it helps control the progression of it. So I've been on that. That's a blood infusion treatment. I get it twice a year. I also get MRIs every year in my brain, my spinal column, to check the progression of it as well. I get annual blood work. I visit my doctor twice a year, once in person, once virtually. I'm on daily medications. I'm on an energy pill. I do that twice a day. I'm on another pill for balance twice a day as well. When I don't take those, the effects are immediate and obvious. I feel the fatigue. I feel the imbalance immediately. And it's very disruptive. So these medications strongly help me. I also take C vitamins, D vitamins, multivitamins, calcium. I'm also on a medication for leg spasms. One of the hallmarks of MS is muscle spasms. So these vary in which type of muscles they affect and the intensity among people with MS, as well as other conditions. But with MS, that's something that affects me. I'm fortunate that my muscle spasms are pretty much only isolated to my legs. That's good. And it's also good that it only happens at nighttime. That sounds good, but it really sucks because it could really interfere with my sleep. I could have my wife on, and she will be on soon, and she could give you many more details than I'm able to give right now. But my legs are strongly affected from time to time with the muscle spasms. She's described the whole bed shaking, etc. When my legs involuntarily will twitch at night as I'm trying to fall asleep. It disrupts my sleep. It not only rouses me from sleep in my bed, but it pisses me off. So the frustration is really tangible and all like, oh, I can't take it. And I'll have to leave, the bedroom and go downstairs. And so I'm upset. And so that medication really helps me as well. Okay. I think that's all my medications. Yes. I have also done counseling. I've also done PT. I've taken dance classes through UPenn Medicine. I'm also on medical marijuana. Medical marijuana is legal and challenging to get. We could talk more about that in future episodes, but I had to go through a number of different steps and jump through a number of different hoops to do it. But I have my little card now. I was advised by my medical team to do the CBD-rich marijuana, the non-hallucinogenic type. Also, I do a topical ointment. I don't do anything that I ingest. No pills, no gummies, no smoking, none of that. It's a topical cream, and I use it on my legs. Usually it's the days I have to, go into work. I'll put it on my legs. I'll rub it into my muscles. And the best way to describe it that I found is that it's like icy hot times 100. Like it almost immediately, you can feel it seeping into your muscles. So it provides, a lot of relief for me and my symptoms and what I'm dealing with. So I find that to be beneficial. Okay, so that's my treatment a little bit, my medication routine, my exercise routine, etc. Another little story I have involves the concept of grounding. For those of you that may not have heard of grounding, if you Google grounding, grounding is known also as earthing. It basically involves connecting your body directly with the Earth's natural electric charges. This can be done by walking barefoot outdoors or by using indoor grounding systems. So where I live in Northeast PA, you can't walk barefoot outdoors a good chunk of the year. Sometimes you can, and I've done that a lot in the summertime, but you can't do that all the time. So indoor grounding systems work. It's basically a mat of sorts. So I was able to get a small grounding mat from one of my sons, and you plug it into the ground outlet of a wall socket, and you just kind of put your feet on it, bare skin. They say that in order to derive benefit from it, you have to do it for at least 30 minutes at a time. But there's no limit to it. In that regard, they also make grounding bed sheets. Also for Christmas, I got a mattress grounding sheet for our bed. And I stress the word our because even though this is to benefit me sleeping in the bed, my wife's going to get the same benefit from it too. So when you touch a mattress grounding pad for your bed, there's a plasticky kind of feel to it. It's not the most comfortable thing. They make grounding mats that you put your feet on during the day or in the evening, but to sleep on a mattress with a plasticky feel to it, it's not the most comfortable. So we hooked it up to our mattress, plugged it in, and had a couple of nights on there with it, and it was a little annoying, to be honest with you, for that. So we got to talking about it and did some research, and we learned that you can still derive benefit from the grounding mat on your bed as long as you, tuck it onto your mattress and cover it with a bed sheet. As long as it's cotton, a natural fiber, you're okay. So we made that adjustment, and all is well. I have a bit of a funny story with the grounding concept. I have a friend who's a longtime friend of mine and former colleague of mine who is a good guy, but relishes and appreciates a reputation that he has as not being warm and fuzzy, not being jovial and outwardly kind to everybody. He enjoys that reputation a bit. We had fallen out of contact for a little bit, but upon hearing about my diagnosis a few years ago, he called me out of the blue. And he's like, hey, Dave, I got an idea for you. I don't know if you've heard about this thing called grounding, but I'd like you to look into it if you don't mind. There's a lot of research on it, and he sent me a bunch of articles for it and other things to read, like books and videos and things like that. And I was intrigued. And when I got the thing from him, I said, geez, thanks a lot. There's people from time to time who will, out of kindness, just say, hey, I try this or look into that. And I so appreciate that. Anybody in my position would appreciate it, right? Just people trying to help out. So I said, oh, thanks so much. I'll look into it. Months went by. I really didn't give it a second thought. But then I did. And I read up on it, and I decided to try it, and I did try it. So I called him back, and I thanked him for it. And I said, you better watch, because if you're not careful, if I tell this story in the right way, people are going to start thinking you're a good guy. And I don't think you want that. And he agreed. He said, no, I don't want you to do that. So I'm trying to be really mindful and conscious of how I relate this story. But it was a good story, good thought for him. And I really appreciate the help on that. And anybody that has any kind of thoughts with that is a wonderful thing. So I really, really appreciate it. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about here, we're winding down the show a bit. Efforts to raise money to feed that fund, for the research. MS not being as prevalent as some other diseases. It's not quite as well known. So even though there is a tremendous amount more of awareness and funding that exists today, it hasn't always been like that, and it does still lack from a lot of other awareness with a lot of other illnesses and diseases. So having MS myself, I take it upon myself to do what I can to raise money for awareness and funds for this. In that vein, what we've done, and I say we because my wife Dina and I are hand in hand with this, and again, I thank her with all my heart with it. The first thing we did was a bike ride. I adore biking, either solo or with some friends. Have a nice trail I ride on. It's a wonderful time for me to kind of feel MS free, and that's a wonderful thing. So we did a Move for MS event in the fall a year or so ago, and it went very well. It was successful in terms of the funds that were raised. However, it was unsuccessful in terms of my pigheadedness and stubbornness. What I mean by that is we set the date for the event and the course of the bike ride, and the day of the event was a horrific November day. It was like cold and blustery and rainy. It was disgusting. And anybody in their right mind would have canceled it or modified it, and that's what I was asked to do. It's like, Dave, we're here, we're going to do the thing, but, instead of going this far, why don't you cut it down? So I said, well, we'll see. Pig-headed, stubborn, routine Dave didn't do that. I didn't follow that logic, and I did what I initially planned to do. I didn't have to, but I did, and this caused some stressors and tensions on a day that it didn't have to. But we were overall very successful in terms of the support and awareness that we received. So that needs to be emphasized. We followed that then with a national MS walk that we participated in Scranton. And that was a wonderful event in the springtime, beautiful weather. Many more people were able to be there. And we, again, raised a good chunk of money. In fact, we were notified that we were in the top 5 of fundraisers of all the people that participated in it. We were able to raise over $5,000, and that's a pretty good chunk of change for a little small grassroots group. So eternally grateful for that. Felt pretty good about it. So this spring, it was like right after the holidays, kind of, I got a call out of the blue from the National MS Society congratulating me on the fundraising events that we've done so far. So I said, well, thank you very much. And she said, well, I'm really sorry to tell you, but the national walk that you participated in and helped us out so much in has been canceled. So I said, well, where does that leave me? So she said, well, look you could still do whatever you want, and we will still support you, and we would like you to do it. We just can't afford to spend, all the resources to this event that was, shrinking in terms of awareness and bodies to participate in. So I understood that, from a cognitive standpoint, but emotionally I was upset about it. I'm like, well, you know what? I wasn't happy about it. So went home, my wife and I talked about it, and within no time we were like, you know what? Screw it. We're doing our own. So I'm happy and proud to say that we are going to be doing an event this spring locally. It's going to be a walk in a local park. Look for information on that on Facebook and our webpage. We'll give you all the details about that. So we appreciate the help on that, and the MS Society is going to be with us in terms of support, and all the funds will go toward MS. Thank you. Okay, I think that's all the stuff I have to share. The last thing I want to say is our next episode, we will welcome our first guest, and we will learn about their shit. We'll talk about it, what it is, how it affects them, and how they are dealing with it. So, to close for today, we will end with a song lyric. That's just the fight in me. That's how I'll always be. Hold your head up high, look him in the eye, and never say die. Just get up. That is the classic Van Halen song, Get Up, from the album 5150 from 1986. Love that song. Maybe I'll play that for everybody one day. Nonetheless, we'll end today with that. Thank you all for spending some time with us and listening to We All Have Shit. Remember that even though we will always have some type of shit in our lives, the best we can do is stay positive, have faith, and help where we can. So until next time, onward.